Welcome to RPA Hub. In this video we will discuss about UI Explorer in UiPath. To automate specific actions in the user interface, you are required to interact with various windows, buttons, drop-down lists, and many others. Most RPA products do this by relying on the screen position of UI elements, a method that is not at all dependable. To overcome this problem, UiPath Studio uses what we call selectors. These store the attributes of a graphical user interface element and its parents, in the shape of an XML fragment. Most of the times, selectors are automatically generated by Studio and do not require further input from you, especially if the apps you are trying to automate have a static user interface. However, some software programs have changing layouts and attribute nodes with volatile values, such as some web apps. UiPath Studio cannot predict these changes and, therefore, you might have to manually generate some selectors. UI Explorer is an advanced tool that enables you to create a custom selector for a specific UI element. It is available as a standalone tool you can download from the Resource Center in your Automation Cloud instance, or from Studio only if the uipathrpa.uiautomation.activities package is installed as a dependency to the project. Using UI Explorer as a standalone tool does not require you to install Studio. This comes in handy when you want to make sure that an application can be automated with selectors. It enables you to simply inspect elements without building a process. The standalone package also contains the Setup Extensions utility, thus making it possible to install browser extensions and the Java bridge to inspect elements across all your automation needs. To open the UI Explorer window, click the button in the Selectors section, in the Design tab, or from the Advanced Editor in the selection screen of all the selectors of the target and anchors attributes, after indicating the target UI element. Alternatively, you can launch the UI Explorer by navigating to Home. To be sure that you choose the best selector, remember to add or remove attributes, add parent or children tags, use wildcards to replace changing values. Let's understand each field description. Validate. The button shows the status of the selector by checking the validity of the selector definition and the visibility of the target element on the screen. The Validate button has 3 states. Green button shows valid selector. Red button, invalid selector. Orange, modified selector, revalidate. Indicate element enables you to choose an anchor relative to the target UI element. Indicate anchor enables you to choose an anchor relative to the target UI element. Repair enables you to re-indicate the same target UI element and repair the selector. This operation does not completely replace the previous selector. The button is available only when the selector is invalid. Highlight brings the target element in the foreground. The highlight stays on until it's switched off. The button is enabled only if the selector is valid. Now let's understand selectors with wildcards. Wildcards are symbols that enable you to replace 0 or multiple characters in a string. These can be quite useful when dealing with dynamically changing attributes in a selector. Asterisk, asterisk, replaces 0 or more characters. Question mark replaces a single character. Let's open a notepad and see some interesting things while generating a selectors. Open an empty notepad window. Note that the window title is Untitled Notepad. In Studio, create a new sequence. Drag a type into Activity to the Designer panel. Click Indicate on screen and indicate the editable text field in Notepad. A selector is automatically generated and stored in the Selector field. In the Properties panel, click the ellipsis button next to the Selector field. The Selector Editor window is displayed. Open any .text file with Notepad. Note that the window title is partially different than the one at step 1. In Studio, in the Selector Editor window, click Repair and indicate the editable text field in Notepad window opened at step 6. A dialog box indicating that the selector was updated is displayed. Click OK. The Selector Editor window and the selector are updated with a wildcard.
That's all from this video. Wanna learn more such interesting topics? Subscribe the channel and press bell icon for further updates. Thank you for watching.